What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Just a Guy on My Lunch Break. Just wanted to throw out a quick video for all of my original listeners, all of my original Kratom crowd, because in some circles, people kind of want to keep me in that box, in that Kratom box, right? I'm the guy who talked about Kratom every day on his lunch break. I'm still just a guy on my lunch break. I'll always be just a guy on my lunch break. But I haven't been talking about Kratom nearly as much because I'm not using it anymore, okay? But as promised, I wanted to make sure to, stay true to my roots, stay true to those people who it is off of your backs, all of my Kratom people out there, all of those that subscribe because of the Kratom, the good Kratom discussions we used to have. I want to stay true to my roots, and as promised, every few videos, I'll do a video discussing Kratom, talking about Kratom, whatever it is. So today I just want to do a little bit of talk about, what Kratom is, first and foremost, and, where it is as far as legality in and throughout the United States. Kratom is a plant. It's mostly grown in Southeast Asia. Ironically enough, a lot of the places that it grows indigenously they've already outlawed it, right? And it's safe to say they have a more intimate knowledge with this plant than we do, right? Is it a tree or is it a plant? Jesus Christ, man. I mean, I've only had 2 sips of coffee, so I'm still... Somebody tell me in the comment, it's a tree, it's a plant, right? It's a plant. Maybe it's a tree. I don't know. Shit. I've seen videos of them cutting it down over there. I don't know if it's actually technically qualified as a plant or a tree. Either way, I think it's a plant. Either way, it has some very, very potent compounds that, when interacting with the body, have opioid type effects, okay? Now, there are, I think, about 13 states currently that have outlawed it. So we have several states within the United States where it's not even legal. You're not supposed to have it, okay? Now, I don't think it's like I don't know. I think they've made it like a schedule. I don't know, like a Schedule 4 drug, just like something like cocaine or yayo or Molly or whatever it is. I think some states have made it like that. So to get it or to be caught with it could be potentially pretty detrimental to some people, depending on which state you're from. Either way, in most states, that's 13 out of 50 states. In most states, it's legal still. In my state, it's legal. The state of North Carolina is completely legal. In fact, they're all but standing on the street corner with carts of Kratom, just handing it out to the public. I mean, it's so very accessible here. It's almost mind-blowing. And I've talked about that quite a bit on the channel, that I think that that's one of the reasons that people develop a problem with it. Now, if you are a person who has, if you've heard of Kratom and you haven't used it, and you're one of those people, well, I heard it could do XYZ, or it has this benefit or that benefit, and it can help with pain or anxiety, whatever it is, and you're considering using it, this is a good channel for you, and it'd be good for you to go and back watch a lot of my previous videos, because I'm one of those people that I kind of sit very in the middle on this. I realize that Kratom can have different meanings and can do different things and have different benefits for different people. Don't get it twisted. While it has benefits, it can also have negative effects and negative consequences, and can be detrimental to people, especially if overused. And I use this analogy quite a lot. Too much of even a good thing is no longer a good thing. It becomes a bad thing. Vitamin C is good for the body, but if you drink a whole gallon of orange juice, you're gonna shit you're gonna shit piss out of your ass for a week, right? And that can't be good. That can lead to dehydration and all kinds of other things. So too much of even a good thing can be a bad thing. Kratom is no exception in that regard, okay? So anyone who has any sort of history with opiate use disorder, like myself, I used to be on pain pills back in the day, to the point where I would steal pain pills from people if I had a chance. Now, I wasn't a thief, you know, I wasn't out like I'm patting myself on the back. Well, I never went and stole anything else of it. I mean, you weren't supposed to steal pain pills. And that's true, I wasn't supposed to steal pain pills. Unfortunately for me, I was in a situation where both my parents had pain pills. Although they didn't abuse them, they actually had prescriptions for them for legitimate chronic pain issues that they dealt with. And so for me, having access to their home and everything growing up, and I even lived with them a little bit into my early 20s. So that, for me, I think played a large part in setting off my addiction, right? Because I had access to it. And, you know, same thing with Kratom here. And we've kind of talked about it already, the accessibility being an issue for people like me, right? Now, rest assured, there are people out there, and you may be one of them, that don't have any history of opiate use disorder. It's not really your thing, and maybe you can take a little bit of Kratom here, a little bit of Kratom there, and not feel like you have to go back to it 19 times a day like a lot of us did when we were actively using it, okay? There are people, and I do believe this, there are people out there that are like that, whereby Kratom's not really a problem for them. I've had people come on the channel and say, hey man, I've been using Kratom for over 5 years now. I only take 5 grams a day. I've never gone over that. And for me, it's never been any problem. Fair enough. Fair enough. I can see that. I can see that. And if you're only taking 5 grams per day, you know, that's honestly, if you are an otherwise healthy individual, you know, physically and mentally and everything else, I imagine that 5 grams a day is probably not going to be that bad for a lot of people. But you also have people like me who have opiate use disorder. You can call it whatever you want, drug addiction, opiate use disorder. A lot of people, I've had people try to battle me on here saying it's not a disease or not a disorder. I'm like, okay, millions and millions of scientists and doctors and users across the world would disagree with you, but okay. One of the beautiful things about the internet, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? And most likely we all have one. With that said, if you're a person like me, or there are other people out there who've kind of used Kratom to get off of something harder, whether it be pain pills, OxyContin, some people were using heroin. I know people who were heavy into drinking, and they used Kratom to kind of ease them off of alcohol, and they were successful in getting off of alcohol. But I've also known people to come off of harder things to get on to something that's supposedly softer and a little less obtrusive in the life, being a partial agonist as opposed to a complete agonist like pain pills or heroin or something like that. So in other words, it doesn't get you as high. I mean, but it gets you high, right? And if you are a person who is a fiend for those opioid and those opiate, euphoric, narcotic type feels and mood feels that you get when you take something like that, then you're probably going to have a hard time taking Kratom on a moderate basis, right? And an inconsistent basis. If you are a person who at one point battled a heroin addiction, pain pill addiction, an addiction to OxyContin, fentanyl, whatever it is, and you're using Kratom to come off of that harder thing, there's a lot of people that have done it successfully, but then what they find is after 2, 3, 4 months of being on the Kratom, they realize then they can't put the Kratom down. Because when you're dealing with anything that has an opioid type effect on the system and an opioid type effect on those opioid receptors in your body and in your brain, then you are also subject to increased tolerance, which means you have to take more today to get the same effect of what you got with that same amount a month ago. 5 grams today isn't doing for you what 5 grams did a month ago. So you get the increased tolerance and you get the physical dependence piece on it, which means, for those of you who are new to it and you were at your head shop picking up some rolling papers and you saw something about Kratom and the guy's like, what, you never tried Kratom? Here, try some. And you're thinking about trying it, this is the video you need to listen to. Be forewarned. You can develop a physical dependence on it, meaning when you go to stop, you will literally be dope sick. Now, this is dependent upon how much you were taking, how often you were taking it, and I think the form of ingestion even plays a part in it, whether you were taking extracts or whether you were just taking some powder. There's how many times a day you were taking it. I think I already said that. Either way, there's quite a few things that affect what kind of withdrawals you might have experienced. Now, there are people out there that have claimed, oh man, I was taking, a shit ton of Kratom every day for the longest time. I didn't have any problem at all coming off of it. I didn't have any, Okay. If that is true, then I think one of two things are true. Either they are not a biological human being and they're some sort of alien from outer space, or they're just completely lying, which that happens too, or they weren't taking as much and as often as they claimed or as they think they were. Maybe they're a person who doesn't really have opiate use disorder and they were just kind of taking it here or there, and to them it's a lot, because they've never been addicted to anything like that. So to them it's a lot. They were taking it quite often, and so to them they were taking it enough where it should have caused a physical addiction, right? But rest assured, you can experience physical symptoms like restless leg syndrome at night, where your legs constantly jump, keeping you from sleeping. Insomnia, just the inability to sleep. Discomfort, tightness in the chest, feeling like you are not at home in your own body and you're feeling like you have to crawl out of your own skin. You also can experience diarrhea. A lot of people in the acute phase of withdrawal, after stopping abruptly from something like Kratom, you can experience diarrhea, you can experience cold chills, extreme lethargy. And if you don't know what lethargy is, it's basically being tired as shit. Walking from one room to the other and being tired. Feeling like you have a 20-pound ankle weight. Bless you, Bubba. Bless you. Feeling like you have a 20-pound ankle weight on each ankle. That's the kind of lethargy I'm talking about. You go to pick up your, 10-year-old infant and they feel like they're 100 pounds. That's lethargy, okay? And there's also some pretty serious mental components with it. And what I mean by that is, you'll experience really low mood and depression coming off of something like Kratom abruptly, because by the way it acts on your body, it gives you this increase in dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, all these chemicals that are responsible for making you feel good or hitting those pleasure sensors in your body and kind of giving you that lifted sort of feel, that lifted sort of mood, right? That's what Kratom does. And when you stop abruptly, your body's response when you're taking it heavily like that is to shut down almost to a complete stop the manufacturing of dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, all these different chemicals that make you feel good, right? And you will then be depleted of all of it. So when the Kratom goes away, you'll be really, really low mood, really, really tired, really, really, you know, no energy whatsoever. What am I leaving out? I sneeze a lot. I yawn a lot. Those are some of the physical aspects and mental aspects that you might experience. And so now, let's get to the golden goose of kind of what all this is about. Now, I've described you, who you are, and what Kratom is to you. I've hit that somewhere within this video. Either you're using it and you're using it responsibly and you're not really dependent or addicted to it, okay? If that's you, you're welcome to just keep watching the channel for cool content. And I talk about Kratom some, but I also talk about other things, you know, popular news, that sort of thing. Or you're a person who has developed an issue with it. And I have seen thousands of people on my channel that have developed some sort of issue with Kratom. And they are to a point where, and for it's whatever their own personal reasons are, they are to a point where, okay, well, this routine of taking this all the time, every day now, is kicking my ass, okay? That I don't want to do this anymore. I'm definitely hooked. I'm definitely addicted to it. So I need to change that, okay? So there's a lot of people out there that are in that situation. If you find yourself in that situation, my suggestion is to do a slow taper. And you've probably already figured this out, but if you're taking, you know, I would say if you're taking any more than 5 grams, or maybe 10 for some people, if you're taking any more than 5 to 10 grams a day of Kratom, if you go and you stop abruptly, you are probably in for some pretty intense withdrawals. Now, those withdrawals get worse and bigger the higher you go up, the more you are taking, okay? But I suggest doing a slow taper. Start with wherever you're at. Every 3 or 4 days, drop your dose down by maybe a half gram or so. Make sure you're drinking tons of water during this time because Kratom dehydrates you. Make sure you're exercising so you can help flush the excess out of your system. Exercise also is a natural dopamine enhancer, so it does kind of give you some more of that, kind of help kick your body back into manufacturing some dopamine because it's not been manufacturing any, because you're shoving it, synthesized dopamine in the form of Kratom. And every 3 or 4 days, drop it down by a half gram or so. It might take you a little while. If you're on 40 grams, it's going to take you a little while to get yourself down to where you're about ready to what we call jump completely off of the Kratom. I've had several people jump recently, including myself a little over 80 days ago. So I'm super proud of everyone on my channel, and apparently I've inspired some people to do that. So I feel really good about that, and I'm really proud of those people too. But if you're on a high amount, it might take you a month, it might take you 2 months, 3 months to work your way down, okay? But rest assured, if you do a slow taper and only drop by maybe half a gram or so every few days, you can, for the most part, forego and go right around any serious withdrawals. Now, you'll have a little bit here and there, because if you're not having a little bit of discomfort, then you're not really dropping your dose and you're not really heading in the right direction, which is down on your doses, right? So you're going to be a little uncomfortable, but it's doable. And there's vitamin C, there's some people take kava, some people take magnesium, which helps with the restless legs at night. There's little things that you can do to kind of help you get through the process, whether you're doing a cold turkey or a slow taper. I suggest slow taper, especially if you're a person that has responsibilities. You have a family, you have kids, you have a job, you have things you have to do every day. It's the least intrusive way to go about getting off of something like Kratom. Do it slow, do it steady, And even if it takes you 2 months, you'll eventually get to the point where you're on 5 grams, then 4.5, then you drop down to 4, then 3.5. And next thing you know, you're just taking 1 half-gram capsule a day, and you're like, damn, I'm almost ready to jump, right? So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. I wanted to get back in touch with my Kratom people. Listen, on Friday nights or Saturdays, I'm not sure which, probably Friday, I will probably go live. I want all of you to know that. I'll probably do a live discussion, Kratom discussion every week, where all my Kratom people can come on there and have like a little support system going on, okay? So please join me for that. I don't know exactly what time it'll be, probably 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. If you don't have anything to do on a Friday night, that sounds like something fun you'd like to do, come jump in, have some discussion with us, talk about shit, talk about Kratom related things. I love it for you to be there. All right, guys, I gotta go. Love you very much. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Like the video, comment down below, let me know where you're at, and use this backwatch all of my other Kratom discussion videos, and use this as an accountability mirror, this channel, okay? All right, you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace.